Okay, Jai Sachidanand Pulinanandji.
Yes, Sachi.
Okay. That's Aruna Ben.
Jai Sachidanand.
Pulinanandji, please do three mantras.
Yeah.
Namo Vitragaya,
Namo Vitragaya.
Namo Variantanam,
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam,
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam,
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajrayanam,
Namo Vajrayanam.
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam,
Namo Loe Sava Sahunam.
Eso Panchanamukaro,
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Sarvapavapanasano,
Savapavapanasano.
Pranancha Savesem.
Nangalam Bhavai Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya,
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
People are
Okay. Matmat, we were talking about Kalam number 4 last time. So if you have any experience, Aruna Ben Puja. Aruna Ben?
Not really. I don't have any experience.
No, no Tiraskar. No about anything, anybody?
I'm working at it, like the conflict between me and my daughter, and it's starting to improve the relationship, both of us. And now she talks much politely with me because I don't argue with her. Before I used to say, I'm your mother and not you are not my mother. But I don't say that anymore to her.
So there was a little bit hatredness among that, or what?
I didn't get you.
No, there was some hatredness between you two about anything, or?
Yes, about some of the things. She was bitter always that I was always favoring my son and not her. And that was not the case, so we argued.
Okay.
But
Pulinanandji?
now she...
No, go ahead. I just wanted to know, how old is your daughter?
Oh, she's 45-year-old.
Okay. And
She has 3 children. She's not young.
and staying in America or India or
Yes, in America. She's in Atlanta and I'm in Dallas.
Then you
And my son was in New York, but last 2 years ago he passed away. He had a heart attack and he passed away. But that bitterness was still within her, but now it seems she has come down to...
bitterness in whom? Daughter-in-law.
No, my own daughter.
Bitterness.
She was the older. My file number 3. She was my file number 3. Number 4 passed away.
That is fine. She was bitter about your son passing away.
No, she was bitter that I was always favoring my file number 4 and not her.
So now, what Purusharth did you do that she has started talking with you nicely?
No, just I started following like Dada's Agna and not say anything. And just I watch what I say. My speech, I mrudu ruju bhasha bolwanu rakhu, and I will pray to Dada that Dada give me strength to speak politely with her and try to make her understand what I'm saying to her.
Because that is the crux. That last
Right.
statement is the crux. Give me the strength to speak politely and make her understand. Basically, we all of us
Right.
have our viewpoints, but then we have to develop the art of speaking in a manner where it doesn't hurt the other person.
Yeah, I started looking at her as a Sudatma and not implying to her that I'm your mother. That part I took away, saying, she's also Sudatma and I'm Sudatma.
So that brings one more subtle point, that when we carry the impression that I am the mother, it is implied that there are some things you must take from me as it is, listen to me as it is. I have raised you. So that is an inbuilt expectation. And then when that
Right,
expectation is not fulfilled, we have problems.
right.
So
So then now I don't expect anything from her.
that is fine.
There's no,
That is fine. That is applying the gnan at the buddhi level or intellect level. Because you don't want to get into a conflict. But you see, if you want to go one step ahead,
right,
two things. One thing is first see her, as you said, you have seen as Shuddhatma. So it is a separate individual by itself with the mind, body, speech. And you are related as daughter. But if you apply the fourth argument that she is also a five. And now you have to square up the accounts with this file, hisab with this file. If that is the deeper understanding, that this is the point. Shuddhatma is true, that is true. And I have to square up the accounts, and otherwise she's a separate entity by itself. Incidentally, you're related by a relationship.
Right.
And that relationship has brought along with it rag and dvesh.
Right.
So it is that rag dvesh that is what you have to clear, cleanse, or wash away.
Right.
So if you focus on that aspect, then this will help you a little more. I don't say because I want to cleanse the rag dvesh, because I don't want anything carry forward for the next birth. Hence, I am decided to be Ruju. Hence, I've decided not to speak back. Not because conflict only. Conflict avoiding is a starting point. Because that is creating problem to you and her. But going one step ahead, that is right. What you are doing is perfect. But going one step ahead is that I want to go to moksha, clear up this file, which is attached by rag dvesh, likes, dislikes, and then see to it there is no claims from her end, and see what best I can express my point of view, see what best she can be satisfied. If you keep that as the background understanding at the back of your mind, then this will fall very easily. Otherwise, what is happening, you will operate from the intellect only, and then you just satisfy the basic norms of not getting into conflict. But deep down, I'm right, she's wrong. That belief will remain. I'm only suppressing myself. I'm only suppressing myself to avoid the conflict. You see? But that subtle point that I am right and she is wrong, that will remain deep down. So that is what
it was always I was insisting.
So as we get rid of all that aspect of it, that deep down then the superfluous, the external behavior, that is the external speech and actions, that will fall in line automatically. That will automatically become Syadvat. don't have to struggle and watch, and I don't have to say Syadwat. I don't have to say hurting language. I have to say Syadwat. All that care and caution will not be required. It will follow.
Right.
It will follow. So I'm just saying, if what you're doing is right, you can just take it one step ahead with this little more understanding
Right.
about it. Okay, sure.
Right.
Okay. So now we have got some more participants. Anybody want to share about the experience of
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Before
any columns?
that, Deepakanji, you want to add something to this, Deepakanji?
Yeah, these life situations, they reveal, they bring forward those hidden feelings and of likes and dislikes, which are working behind curtain. And at times we are not aware of that at all. But when we get such feedback from others, and specifically with kids, this is very common because between brothers and sisters, or even brothers, it is quite common. And at times we are also getting trapped in such feelings of likes and dislikes, and we are not even aware of that. So on one side, we must also thank them that, okay, thank you for bringing this out, and now we have to work on it, because Aruna Ben has come with all these weaknesses, and these life situations reveals her weaknesses, which we in our life and not ignorance, but where things are like that, we are not very easy to detect them. And when such a thing comes, we must grab this situation and say, oh, I thought everything was fine. I was impartial and I was balanced with both the kids. But when one is saying like that, there is something. So we must open our investigation and correct ourselves. So you take this as an opportunity to correct yourself. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Thank you, Aruna Ben. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody wants to talk about column number 4 experience? Okay, Sheila Ben.
Not audible.
You can unmute.
I'm sorry, I thought I am muted. Okay. Jai Satchidanand Pulinanandji, Jai Satchidanand Deepakanandji, Jai Satchidanand. Okay, mine is not actually, like while trying to observe the fourth column, I notice I'm getting into this pattern or this behavior that I keep observing file number 1, and only I've now started almost judging file number 1, like, oh, these are the deficiencies and these are the problems. And it's getting to be, I feel like I'm judging file number 1 a lot. Now, who is judging? And why am I being so critical about file number 1? So I'm a little confused because it seems to be a pattern which I'm not able to break or get out of, or I need some help in this direction. Because I'm becoming more obsessed about, oh, okay, your file number 1 has not done this, file number 1, it's becoming more and more by observing file number 1. Even when I'm dealing with others, or even my own inadequacies, file number 1's inadequacies. So the focus, I'm bringing the focus only on.
You got muted.
You can unmute yourself.
Did you hear? Should I repeat what I said? Or?
No, I got it.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want some help in, I'm trying to understand who is judging file number 1 and why am I being so critical about whatever I've done, even by trying to go back into the past and, like, oh, you didn't work hard enough, or you're not disciplined enough, and all about file number 1. And so I want to, I really don't know how to handle this. And what should I do? I'm trying to understand, first of all, who is judging, and if I'm Shuddhatma, who is judging?
Can you just elaborate with one example? I think so. I got the question, but one example will make it very clear.
Yes, very simple. That if simple things like, you didn't work hard enough or something, why blame the circumstances or whatever, or you were not disciplined enough. File number 1 is not disciplined enough. Like even small things, that kind of thing.
Yeah. See, one thing.
Angry easily, like that kind of thing.
One thing is there is within us, irrespective of self-realization, we have a factor of impartiality within us who can easily observe that it is part of our ego only. One thing is our ego, and that is not getting satisfied with whatever you have done. That is what Shaila has done. And so such feelings and such, we can say, expressions do come up. So one thing is there, any activity, whether it is of liking type, disliking type, or such impartiality, activity is of the name bearer only. Because you as pure soul, and also with the intermediate enlightened state, that realization and perception is also there, what's happening within Shaila. So we have to just make use of this situation that, yes, it is good that Shaila is aware of it and she is quite vigilant about this. So with this, you have to just take the advantage, especially with the new perception that has opened. It brings you to original impartiality. So if something is happening, okay, one thing is there, it can bring negativity also.
Yes.
Instead of saying you didn't work hard, at times it can take to herself that I didn't work hard, and because of that, see, you are suffering today. Yes. So in both these situations, we must, as in our enlightened state, intervene and make the thing balanced. You can't change the past, but you can work now to correct that past. And if you're very wise enough, see that you don't repeat that mistake again. Just by remembering the past, you didn't work hard, you were not disciplined, all that. What are you now? Whatever you're talking about is of the past, which has happened, for which you have already passed through that suffering. But when you recall all these things now, it really bites your conscience that, hey, I was not like that, I was not like that. But okay, fine. Now you see that that thing doesn't pop up again and damages your, tarnish your present situations, right? So take this as an advantage and see that you don't do it again. See, it's like Shaila is your disciple. You are watching your disciple because you have the divine vision, you have the enlightened state. So you observe and perceive every aspect of Shaila. What has happened, what does she feel, and now guide her, correct herself in a very impartial way. In the sense, whatever has happened, you have already passed through that agony of suffering. But when you recall now, it bites your consciousness. It might not conscious, it bites your conscious. And now, take this opportunity to correct. Fine? And jot down the points which are all the weaknesses you have come across and see that it doesn't happen again. So that will be the right wisdom.
Yes.
And first thing is separate yourself. Because you are purest, pure soul, par excellence. Anything that pops up is in relation to the file only. Correct? Jai Satchidanand.
Certainly. Very nice. Thank you so much.
Pulinanandji?
If I may paraphrase your question, that of late you have become hypercritical of Shaila's behavior. Now, if I've understood it rightly, of late means maybe after all these satsangs and Purusharths. So it means is you have now come to know this is right and this is not right. The proper and behavior. Previously, you were not too aware of it and it was just happening. Now with listening to all this Kalam 1, 2, 3, 4, and you find, oh, so many things you are breaking, isn't it? So essentially, this satsang and your resolve not to hurt anyone's ego for this thing has enhanced your awareness. It has enhanced your Jagruti vis-a-vis what Saila Ben is doing. And this enhanced Jagruti is showing n number of faults. You missed on this, you missed on that, you're doing this, doing that. And now that it has opened up so much suddenly that now it's happening. What's happening? Am I going to be haywire? So basically it's good in a sense that you have become aware of what is should be right and what is should be wrong. Number two, all the wrongs that have been being done so far are file number 1 or Shaila Ben. So now resolve that henceforth, Dada, give me the strength not to repeat it. And you can also say that you sit in the seat of Shuddhatma and talk to Saila Ben. Saila Ben, you have done this so much now. By the grace of Dada Bhagwan, you have realized what is right and what is wrong. Now, step by step, cleanse out all your past mistakes. So you could take time out every day, sometime and just cleanse out the past errors where you feel you have hurt people, ego and things like that. So that will help you remain a little peaceful. And thus Pratikramans will also enhance your awareness further. More than awareness, your resolve not to hurt anybody. Both will be enhanced. Your resolution not to hurt and your awareness on your own mind, body, speech. That is Saila Ben's mind, body, speech. So after separating out, let Saila Ben do the Pratikraman or ask question and keep that understanding that all this is of file number 1. And you are not so much aware of all these things. Now that you are aware, you ask file number 1. Now you slowly cleanse and resolve not to repeat. So who is telling all this? That is Pragnya Shakti. The Pragnya Shakti is the light of the pure soul. See, so far what was happening was we were so engrossed with file number 1. I did this, I did that. I attended satsang, I learned this, I learned that, he did this and she did this. And then gradually you were getting some tips on good behaviors and things like that. But still you were still engrossed. Now awareness has increased that you are Shuddhatma and you don't want to hurt anybody, you see. Now that resolve of not hurting has sort of, इसको क्या बोलते हैं, woken you, shaken you up, come out of all this. What's all the nonsense that is all going on? The satsang was and non-satsang behaviors were totally different. The two were separate, you see. That discharge was playing out very forcefully. The discharge behavior, discharge speech, because we have got a lot of beliefs. This is right, this is wrong, and then we're just playing along with the discharge behaviors, you see. These are beliefs, whatever. And that was going on strongly parallel to the satsangs what we listen. Now that you have listened, oh, I should not be hurting, no, then all of a sudden it breaks every, oh, all this is all wrong, what's happening? So you realize that's wrong, and that's an awareness that now something is there, and that awareness, you have this pragna guiding you and telling you, see, this is wrong, see, this is wrong, see, this is wrong. Next time when you do behavior. So it is a pragna which is guiding you, which has made you hypercritical of all actions. So take it positively that, okay, never mind. I've got 10 buckets of clothes to be washed. First, I was not even knowing that clothes are missing. Clothes any file number one's behaviors. So step by step, I watch file number one, ask it to be cleansed, and ask for the strength. So gradually past things will go, that will enhance your awareness. So future mistakes will reduce. Because you have decided not to hurt anybody. And that will only happen when you let go of your beliefs, let go of your insistence on the way this is right and this is wrong. When you start releasing those things, then this hurting will reduce automatically. So it's enhanced awareness, which you just hold on to. And it's 11, never mind. Now, with Dada's grace, you have realized what is right. Go on the right path. Okay. So,
yes. Thank you. Jai Sachidanand. Very nice.
Jai Sachidanand. Anybody else wants to share? Okay. Kushal.
Jai Sachidanand. I have had experiences with this that I'll admit I have a very quick temper. I'll react very fast to a situation. If it is wrong, it is wrong. And I've noticed that that behavior does hurt or unintentionally, people don't care. So being cautious about that, one thing has happened is that I have to take a step back every time I do it something, and then I just don't react. I just tell myself, don't react. Just even though that situation is not too much, or somebody is doing something, told them 10 times, or behavior is not as expected, whatever it is, and with that, it irritates me a lot internally, but externally I've noticed people all of a sudden like, how come you're not reacting to this situation? Because that is expected. People use reaction to on, I'm giving people excuse to also yell at the situation or react to that situation. Don't react. It everyone is wondering, and even I myself am a little irritated of myself, but I see where my behaviors are very quick to react. That has allowed me to take and look at the other person. Okay, yeah, he's doing what is his discharge, and because of that, I have started observing that not everyone is guilty all the time. Or actually, I would go a step further and say, you know what? Yeah, he's not guilty. Yeah, this is not done right, but it was not his or her fault. So I'm in that middle situation where I'm not happy inside because my action comes faster than I think, but that's where I am internally and externally.
Pulinanandji?
You are breaking up, but with whatever little I could catch, all I'm saying is that you have decided, you had a short temper, you used to react very fast. In the process, people would get hurt. Then you decided to take it slow and step back, which means not reacting very quickly. And in the process, you are a little unhappy within. People are wondering how come you have changed. They are maybe yelling and doing all that. you are going back, that is stepping up back, not reacting, which is causing little discomfort to you within. Am I right? Have I summarized it right?
Yes.
Okay. That is true. You see, this is a starting point. This is the starting point of Purusharth, what we call as Sanyam in Gujarati, Sanyam Parinam. Yani ki control, very loosely control. Control over emotions like anger, pride, deceit, and greed. Krodhman Maya. So that is the true Purusharth, that is the way forward in Moksha Marga. And control of the Kasha is leading to total nullifying the Kashais over a period of time is the Purusharth. And as the Kashais go down, the awareness, the soul awareness, Atma Jagruti will increase. So this is the anyway path for going towards Keval Gnan or absolute knowledge. This is the beginning. So in the beginning, what has happened, it's a mechanical sanyam. I just don't want to hurt, that's all. So you have restrained your speech. But within you, you still somewhere feel that you are right, the person is incorrect. So that little bit of conflict or others yelling and all is causing little pain to your ego. That is okay. That is okay. Then, as you said, you also applied the right knowledge that the other person is not doing out of his own free will. He is also part of his karma, that is part of his or her discharge. And it's an attempt to see them as nirdosh or as non-doer. So that is also very true. That is fine. The right understanding that the other person also is not an independent doer, but you are but an emetic doer. Whatever is coming to you is part of your karma. And that is an important thing. Whether it's not doer, it is coming to you as part of your karma. So just accept it, whatever is happening. That is one of the understandings which will help you to accept the situation or the other person's behavior. My reaction, so we will come back to you. Or little one step at Kaushal's reaction, then Kaushal is getting it back. I'm pure soul and Kaushal has done this and Kaushal is getting it back. So that is one of the ways of looking at things. Then if you want to go one step ahead where you don't react so rapidly and that rapid reaction is causing hurt to others. So if you want to take charge of that or reduce that, for that again the same thing, the deep down understanding that we carry, of what is right and what is wrong. This is to be done, this is not to be done. So that understanding we have to keep. That understanding we have to keep, but we also have to keep the understanding that this is just the cause-effect relationship. Causes Kaushal has done, playing out as effects to Kaushal. Comfortable effects are coming, non-comfortable effects are coming by way of behaviors of other people or some uncomfortable situations. So the point is, Kaushal's causes and Kaushal's beliefs by way of cause are now coming back by way of effect. You have done some errors in the past, it's coming by way of uncomfortable behavior or situations now. So Kaushal just accept this with that understanding. And what are the errors which I could have done, which I should not be doing now in future? What errors or mistakes I could have done in the past, which I should not repeat in the future? That means one of the guidelines of finding out that is our 9 no columns. Have I hurt people's egos? Have I hurt people's beliefs? Have I done hatred, speech, Vishavikar, whatever, So whether if I have done that in the past and if you square up that, then the reactions that are coming now will not come. This is one way of doing it. And that today's resolve that I don't want to retaliate is a very good thing. That will cause a lot of the discomfort in spiritual terminology or jargon is called tap, where you are fighting against your own anger, pride, and you are not allowing those to play their part. Growth, anger is coming up, but you are holding it. You are being insulted. Your pride is taking a beating. You are not retaliating. You see. So you're working on your prashais, and it's a friction that is causing. You want to yell, and now the discharge wants to yell, and you don't want to yell. So that is a working in opposite directions. Today's knowledge and the past knowledge. This working in opposite directions is causing friction. That friction is called tap. Tap, very loosely, the closest English word I can think is penance, which is not very true. It's getting, so that friction is tough. So this tough is good. All I'm saying is I'm not feeling comfortable inside that you said that in spiritual terminology is tough, which is part of Purusharth, and is bound to happen. Is bound to happen. This is called antar tap, inside tap. There are two types of tap. One is external tap, where you do fasting and all religious activities which can be seen by or observed by others. And one is inner tap or inner penance, which cannot be observed by others. Now, this friction that is happening within you is inner tap, and which is useful and is bound to happen, and is one of the essential criteria for moksha. For moksha, you have Gnan, Darshan, Charitra, and Tap. Knowledge, understanding, Tap, Charitra means you can say character very loosely, and Tap, penance. So this is an essential ingredient for all of us, where we are working against the Prakriti or the discharged mind, discharged buddhi, discharged ego. So, to summarize, the discomfort that you're feeling is tough, which is right, which should happen, and let it happen. Remain firm on your resolve to, as you said, setback, or basically to remain in Sanyam, not to hurt anybody. Keep that perfect. Number 3, it is your projection which has come back to you by uncomfortable behaviors of others. Number 4, see what mistakes you could have been doing in the past, which now you may like to improve so that you don't get this uncomfortable retaliation. So all this put together will take you forward on the path of moksha. You're on the right path, but this will take you further. I'm just putting all these understandings together. Okay, Jai Satya.
Yeah.
Deepakanandji?
Yeah, Jai Satchidanand. First, we must analyze why Kaushal is doing this. Does he want to do, or he doesn't want to do? At times, he doesn't want to do, but it still happens. So what is that exactly? You have realized that it is not right, but the past beliefs makes you do that, make you pass through the suffering, and that is your destiny. What you call as that suffering, which is connected with your past doership, projected doership. But in that situation, we analyze that was your karma for which you had to pass through that suffering. That is your means kaushal. When you say I, we have to keep that very sharp within ourselves that it is kaushal. And wherever it is some realization or perception part comes, that is your as an intermediate enlightened state which has opened through self-realization. So yes, it is in the intermediate state, in between state where you're not perfected and still flaws or weaknesses are still there. So you don't have to get irritated. Like you're working on it. For you to become an engineer, it takes 4 years. So maybe to perfect yourself, it may take some time. So try not to get impatient, and you are working positively on it, and you're not cutting corners anywhere, you're not compromising anywhere. So that will help you remain well focused. But if you're compromising, if Kaushal is compromising, if Kaushal is cutting corners somewhere, then caution him. Try to correct that also. Means when everything is working correctly, then what it remains is you have to wait for the time for it to cook. Like if something is already on the gas and it is getting cooked, it is going to take some time, half an hour, 45 minutes, like that. So this is how it is taking time, and you're on the right path. So fine. So this way, but what is important, whatever is happening or whatever Kaushal is doing, what is that force which is making him do things like that is your previous projected doership, which is making you pass through that activity or that situation and make you pass through that suffering. You understand? It will make you commit certain mistakes, make you you will make some decision for which you had to pass through that suffering. And then you realize, oh, why did I decide? No, you didn't decide. The situation made you decide, for which you had to pass through that suffering. And after passing through that suffering, you realize your mistake, that decision was wrong. So now you resolve. Whatever implication that that happened, maybe in the form of hurting others or in the form of you getting hurt, that was your karma, their destiny. But wherever you ended up hurting others, you have to do Pratikraman and then correct yourself with right resolution. In the process, the past things, mistakes will get eliminated, and with that resolve, next time when you come across those situations, your decisions will be right. And that's how you gradually correct yourself and perfect yourself, making you normal, making you perfect, making you sahaj. And that's our goal, that you make Kaushal normal, perfect, sahaj. And this is a process where patient is the name of the game. Jai Satchidanand.
Yeah.
Jai Satchidanand. Thank you, Kaushal. Anybody else? Okay, Deepakanandji, you want to say something?
Yeah. See, this is very common when we at the level of preaching or forefront speakers, and we listen to others, we listen to our other Aptaputras also. That time, this is very common feeling that the other person, the other Aptaputra is not adequately telling something, or he's missing something, and he must say this also. He did not complete the answer and all that. So such situations are very common with us. And a factor of comparison is always there, a factor of competition is always there. And it's like if some of the people get a lot of praises, then things start biting inside at times. So it's a very good thing that even at this level, one thing what has really worked within me is Dada has said that when you are doing satsang, Swadhyay satsang, then you are also praying Dada that, oh Dada, please come into my heart and say, you speak and I will listen. And when someone else is talking, and when someone else is doing satsang, we do prayer that please come into my heart and come into his heart and give us satsang. So with this, it really helps us come out of this very common thing, especially when at our level or at common level, this is at times it can work very violently also. So it's like if Pulinanandji has said something, then a very cutting edge answer will go from my side. And even try to say that what he said was not complete or incomplete. And this is what now I am completing the answer like. So all these feelings are very common. And at times I believe even Mahatmas may be observing this when few Aptaputras are doing Satsang. And I believe it is our mistake, because when Mahatmas are able to notice such a thing, we should not be doing that. Because here what Dada has said, when we used to go for satsang and to villages and all that, Dada used to take account of what had happened, who said, who did satsang, what all the questions were asked, and what others were doing. So in the beginning, it was happening like even others would start talking. And after the satsang, a big audit will take place where others will just pounce on the person who did satsang. You didn't say this, you didn't say that, Dada's already said this, Dada said so much about this, and you didn't utter a word. Wherever you, directly, indirectly, one way or the other, such a thing was happening. And Dada at this point, he said very firmly that nobody will do any audit of other Aptaputra who does satsang. And while other Aptaputra is doing satsang, you will sit with closed eyes or open eyes, but listen carefully and remain in upyog. What is that? Remain in pure soul state. Just listen to what Dada is speaking. And when such a thing is there, then we as listener, we make the best of what the satsang is going on. Because certain things, when others appreciate it, when other listeners, other Mahatmas appreciate, I was not able to appreciate. I said, hey, what's going on? Just because you know certain things and he has said something, so it's not a big deal. No, that's where, it is really working very nicely. So one of the effort what I have put, and I do it very frequently, is, it has so happened that there are 25 Aptaputras, and we say this, Om Shuddhatma, I am pure soul, 25 times at the end of our vidhi. So when that goes on, I start counting and have in my vision, and I have set the thing. So it has become easy and it is really working very good. And whenever any Aptaputra is saying, then Dada is saying, I do my prayer, and most of the time it goes very well. But still, at times it pops up and I come to know, this is where you are still feeling that you are better, you know better, you understand better. No, it's not the thing. But it's good. It's a process. It's a wonderful journey. It's no thanks to Dada, but great Dada Bhagwan. Jai Satchidanand.
Jai Satchidanand. Thank you. Okay, Pooja, you want to say something?
Sure. I don't really have necessarily experience to share, but I do notice that if I have certain situations where maybe I know that I'll get into about the Tiraskar state, so I kind of prepare myself the best I can. So I'll do, vidhi or something, just a quick something if I can, and I try to stay in a observer state, but it doesn't always last. And I don't know if I hope over time it will last and get longer and longer, and maybe there'll be less of that feeling. But I know that one of the sutras or one of the statements that is like, you can't have any tiraskar for anybody, obviously, no claim, I think is the same thing, and be on this path for moksha. So sometimes I do waver between the two. And then comes the Pratikraman, which sometimes happens right away, sometimes doesn't, but then I have to kind of almost like, convince Puja, okay, you need to do Pratikraman for this. You saw, because I feel like I have such a long list of Pratikraman that this one slips sometimes. So that's kind of what I have with about Tiraskar. It's a very constant emotion, I guess, maybe, that comes throughout, like Deepakanandji was saying, comparisons, or and it happens within family or at professional level. With my employees now, it's much more collaborative. Before it was very superior, inferior, but now we are very collaborative, because I've set that vision in place and I feel that dynamic. But bringing that vision at home, in the home place, is still not quite there yet.
Deepakanandji?
Yeah, see, one thing what we must try to observe through our pure soul state is how, why a person is doing, who is making that person do this, say this, and because what affects us is other person's behavior, other person what he or she has said, very commonly. And when we get the answer, and the third Agna plays a very vital role in this, then with that vyavasthit, why someone is doing this, and ultimately who is the suffering party, who is the beneficiary or the loser. Because that is, puja gets affected, so puja has to do Pratikraman for two things. Not understanding these science of happening, whatever she thinks, whatever she says, and whatever way she behaves or misbehaves, she has to do Pratikraman for that. At the same time, another level of Pratikraman is necessary to make her understand that this is what has made the other person do or say like that. Because after all, puja gets affected. Puja feels hurt and all that. So when you clearly understand why that person did that, and at the end, puja was sufferer. Puja suffered. So in that situation, you're not able to remain perceptive that it was puja who suffered, and you say, I didn't like, I hate this person. Again, it is these feelings are pujas only. But at that time, you are not aware. And when afterwards you come to know, then you realize, oh, puja felt this, puja felt that. That's why we have to do Pratikraman. Right? So it is a process wherein we have to gradually perceive things, what is happening around, who is doing what, and who is making them do this thing, say this thing, which affects us. So on one side it is said, whatever was given by puja previously, it is coming back for settlement to puja.
Mm-hmm.
So in our pure soul state, intermediate enlightened state, we remain vigilant on what is happening with puja, what puja is doing, and in that whole scenario, what puja has to pass through the kind of suffering. And that is her karma, that is her destiny. But in that whole process, you don't suffer, you don't become sufferer. So you see puja suffering, puja as sufferer, and you remain as pure soul state. And in this whole process, you get to know where puja went wrong. At the same time, a factor of mistake can take place at the level of perception, because that level of perception is our effort, our Purusharth. Even in that Purusharth, some mistake could be there. There is lapse in perceiving things. So you will correct that also. Jai Satchidanand.
Pulinanandji?
Thank you.
But everything is generally covered up. So all I can say is as you are observing puja, you continue the observation, and you can just tell puja, okay, whatever is happening is good. All the wrong things that are happening is good. It is sort of tough, as I said, and it is helping you clear the karmic debt. So it is in your best interest, spiritual point of view, soul point of view, not worldly point of view. Worldly point of view, you are the sufferer. But spiritual point of view, puja's file number 1 is being cleansed of karmic debts. Or whatever wrongs have been done, which are now being cleared out. So be happy about that. That the debt is getting repaid. So this is necessary for all of us. You, me, but Lord Margaret, Lord Dada Bhagwan, everybody. Tap is necessary. Cleansing of the past debts is necessary. Suffering, whatever comes on its own, is useful, helpful. So when also think of puja good, you have cleared out so much of debt today. I am with you. Carry on. Just talk to puja. Puja good. I am with you. What has happened is good. Carry on. So this will enhance the duration of that separateness that you were saying. No? It remains for some time, but do not remain for long. So that will enhance more. The duration will increase. That has come. I'm with you. So the question doesn't set in. That's all. Then all the other things are there with you. You know that this is your hisab, the other is a doer, he's an instrumental doer, he's not a file doer. All that knowledge is there with you. You have to see how we can be more vigilant. And puja does not do about tiraskar. That is all that we are looking at. Whatever is happening, what understanding to give it to it so that it subsides very fast. The about tiraskar subsides very fast and doesn't pop up next time. That's all. So once you take it as good, whatever is happening is good, then question of it's not in alignment with what you want. Sometimes about this basically pops up when things don't go our way or as per our design. I expect this, but things are not going good. So I feel about this. But when that expectation is also, there's a paradigm shift in the expectation. I expect all this is good in my best interest. The other person's improper or uncomfortable behavior is in my interest because it is tough, because it is clearing my karmic debt. When I'm viewing it from that point of view, then it's a total paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Paradigm shift, So that about this will not pop up because I anyway wanted it. When I don't want to be insulted and I get insulted, I'm in trouble and I get about the risk. But I said, okay, welcome, no problem. Then the about the risk will not there. Maybe you view it, all I'm saying, just have paradigm shift. Okay, you're viewing things. So that's all. The other things have been covered up by Deepakanand, so nothing much to add over there.
Perfect. Thank you, Jai Satchidanand.
So, Pulinanandji Deepakanandji, you want to continue this?
I think, let us just take up just few minutes. What we can do is now we are working towards about Tiraskar to good. We are working towards the fifth Kalam, Kathor Bhasha Sancharika. It's a very big Kalam, a very challenging Kalam. So let me very briefly introduce about it. And all of us could work on observing the fifth Kalam part also, along with 1, 2, 3, 4. Kalam 1, 2, 3, 4. But hey Dada Bhagwan, give me the strength not to speak in a harsh and hurtful language. Kathor Bhasha is very harsh language. It hurts a person's ego brutally, as a stone is thrown on the heart, as they say. You're an idiot, nasty, wherever you use very nasty words. So that is Kathor Bhasha. Deeply hurting language, Kathor Bhasha. And Kantili Bhasha, vengeful, I will see, if you remember the hurt and things like that. So give me the strength not to speak in hurtful and vengeful manner, number 1. Number two is that if someone speaks in a hurtful and vengeful manner, give me the strength to speak in a soft, extremely soft, Mrudu means Atyant Namrata. Atyant Namrata means extremely polite language, polite or extremely soft manner. And Sarad means straightforward. Ruju Bhasha means straightforward. Sarad Bhasha. So means rather than playing about the bush or talking in a taunting manner, no, straightforward. So give me if someone talks in a hurtful and vengeful manner, give me the strength to talk in a polite, soft, and straightforward manner. This strength is a very essential strength and is extremely challenging. Other person may speak anyhow, I have to speak so. So very briefly, we'll elaborate it next time. But start thinking, be vigilant of the fifth Kalam and see what experiences we can share next time. Deepakanand, you want to add something?
Perfect, yeah.
So we add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's have cumulative experiences next time. Yes.
Quickly, Deepakanand, you want to add something to the fifth Kalam?
Okay, see, it's like what is making us speak. And we must always focus, am I within the boundaries of Syadvar Vani? That is, we don't hurt in any way feeling of other person in any form. And one of the marker in this is, are we committing mistake of egoistic speaking, or are we, are we committing mistake of not speaking? That is double mistake of not speaking and single mistake of speaking. Single mistake of speaking is egoistic speaking, and double mistake of not speaking where it is necessary, which is considered as weak nature's crime. And the first one of speaking egoistic way is civil offense. And that is considered as criminal offense, because if you would have spoken, that would not have happened. But just because you remain silent, you have to face the consequences. And there are so many examples of history which we can take. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand. Okay, our time is up. So, Deepakanandji, is the mantra everybody can follow?
Namo Vitragai.
Namo Vitragai.
Namo Arihantanam.
Namo Harihantanam.
Arihantanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo
Namo Vajjayanam.
Namo
Vajrayanam.
Namo Loe Savasahunam.
Namo Loe
Loe Sabasaham.
Eso Panchanamukaro.
Eso
Panchanamukaro.
Savvapava Pranasano.
Savvapava
Pranasano.
Mangalanam cha Savesim.
Mangalanam cha Savesim.
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Padamam Havai
Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah
Shivaya.
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand.
Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand. Jai
Jai.
Jai